All right, and we are off. Welcome to another live edition of Making You a Bartending Pro. My name is Jason. My man here, Shake, moderating. And we do these every Tuesday. We don't have to talk about bartending, but we usually do. It's kind of an open format Q&A. And you chime in, ask questions, and answer them. So that's it. So wait a few minutes. Cheers, everyone. Clink. How are y'all? Wait for everybody to come on down. Test out the test. Here we go. Jay Christopher. What's up, brother? How are you? Let me move this real quick. Make sure you guys. I have not been to Detroit, Jay Christopher. I may have. I want to say I've flown through there. That's as close as I've ever gotten to Detroit. So I guess I've technically been there, but I've never actually been there. So I have not. Mr. Chaos, hey, one of the best, bro. Thank you. Learned a lot from your channel too. Awesome. Good, good. Stoked. Brandon DeNike. I want to say that's, I'm sure it's something else, but I see DeNike. So I'm going to call you DeNike. So do you think that bartending should be paired with another profession? What do you mean, Brendan? Give me an example, and I could elaborate on that. Ganesh Pandy, hi. Jay Christopher. How can you make a good beer mimosa? Just put orange juice with your favorite beer. I've actually done that with light beers, light lagers. When I've had to drink really cheap, really shitty beer that I don't like, I put orange juice in it and made a beer mimosa. Put it over ice. So it's like a little beer cocktail. Sounds really weird, but it's pretty good. Are you one of the bartenders? I am a bartender, sir. Brennan says, like to work as bartending as a weekend job and still have 9 to 5. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, I got your question. Yes, you can totally do that. A lot of people do that. A lot of people starting out will kind of have to do that sometimes because you might not be able to find a full-time situation. But a lot of people will just do it part-time for fun, to do bartending on the side. So it's all good. And yeah, I know a few people that do that because depending on where you're at, and especially in your bartending career, you don't really make a shitload of money starting out as bartending right off the bat. Usually, you can definitely make a living and make enough to survive. It's dry here, so I'm gonna chapstick for my lips here. But it's rare that you're gonna be starting out making millions of dollars as a bartender. I don't think you'll ever make millions of dollars as a bartender, but yeah, a lot of people do it just kind of the bartending is a fun kind of side gig, or something for a social aspect, basically. So totally, I know lots of people have done that. Brendan, thanks for the question, buddy. Jay Christopher, oh, we already got it. How to make good beer mimosa. Bougie B, love your channel. Learned a lot just from you. Thank you. Awesome. Stoked you guys learn lots. I think there's a lot to learn here because there's no ulterior motive other than just providing good information for you guys. That's based strictly on my past experiences of doing this shit for 15 plus years. So there's no fake, false premise to it. When I first started making these videos, the intention was to make them for a website and sell some training program, info product thing. And I realized it's just a very small, tiny market, the learn bartending thing. So it just kind of turned into like this is my giving back thing that I do for society in some sort of weird way. Just teach all of you guys that want to learn how to get into bartending, because there's so much false ideas about what it takes and what to get into the industry and what it takes to be a good bartender. Still to this day, even after I've been doing this for, you know, making this channel for 5 or 6 years, it's still, I constantly get, it's still constant questions about recipes and stuff like that, which makes sense. You know, it's what bartending schools have pandered to forever, and when you look at it from the outside, it looks like that's what bartenders do, which we do. We make lots of drinks, but it's more of that social aspect that's super important. So if you guys are hanging out, watching the live stream, any questions you ask, I will get to them, so just hang tight. Sometimes my answers will be a little bit long-winded, and I try to reel them in and keep them tight. We'll wait for my man Shake to jump on here. I don't see him yet. He'll usually help moderate and grab links to other videos and stuff while I'm answering questions. But yeah, if you got a question up, hang tight, I will get to it. In the meantime, grab your favorite beverage and just hang back and watch along, ask whatever you like. We can talk about bartending. You don't have to. We can talk about whatever you want. But it usually focuses on bartending. Cam DeTanigan, aloha, what up? From Hawaii. Eder Alvarez, what's going on? Missed you last week. Yep, sorry last week. I was trapped in limbo because I was trying to come back to Bend, which is where I'm living now, Central Oregon. And there was like 3 feet of snow on the ground, so the airport was closed for like 3 days. So there was no flights coming in or out. So I was stuck in limbo, and I was supposed to fly home Monday night, and then I didn't make it back until Thursday night. So snowmageddon up here in the Northwest at the moment, as with I think some other parts of the country, but we're here, we're back. Stoked to get you guys back on the show here. Ganesh Pandi, I've learned a lot from you. Thank you. You are very welcome. Stoked you're learning a lot. David L, I do that, mostly bartend Friday nights, Saturday nights, and a bunch of shifts here and there. It's a good way to kind of like piece it together. Keeps kind of fun. It's like, you know, you're doing something fun, and it doesn't really, you know, if you're at a cool place, and especially if you're new in your career or in the first few years, you haven't been doing it forever, you're not all jaded and burned out, then it's a lot of fun. So it can be like a social outlet, but then you're also making money. So it's a cool side gig, as well as being a full-time job option, or just an accent to your other main jobs. So a lot of people do that for sure. Definitely a good option, David L. Mr. Chaos, can bartending help take care of 2 persons? Like earning enough to support you and someone else, or you and a family? It's not generally equivalent to someone who works in like investment banking, for sure. But, you know, a lot of my coworkers that were bartenders or just service professionals, most of them had significant others or families or kids. So you can do it. It's more, I would say, a young single person life phase job. Like I wouldn't, you know, unless you start to get into some better positions, which obviously that's your goal at some point. But the kind of idea, and this isn't true everywhere, right? You can always make some good money, and there's always outliers that do really well and hustle their ass off, and they're just fucking gangsters. But the average, and I made a video about it, like your average person makes, you know, an okay living, but there's not a bunch of like rich bartenders running around. You're not, people that bartend are known as having a lot of fun, and it's like a time and flexibility type job, and super social and you always have a little bit of cash in your pocket, but there's not like a lot of, you know, bartenders that are rubbing elbows with, you know, Jay-Z and fucking Hollywood stars or anything, unless they're actually at the bar that they're working at, that they're going to. So you don't, point is that you don't make a shitload of money. You should never come to this job because you're trying to get rich, because that's probably not going to happen. But it's a whole hell of a lot of fun. It's a great skill set. It'll always keep you alive. It'll always be in demand no matter what the job markets are doing. If the economy is booming, people are out celebrating, so they need bartenders. And if the economy tanks, people go out to drink their sorrows away. So bartenders in demand. So it is a great skill set. It's probably one of the best journeyman skill sets, in my opinion, you can have. So definitely it's a great, will always give you an opportunity to work and keep your ass alive jobs for sure. So there you go, Mr. Chaos. There's a long-winded answer to your question of, can bartending take care of two people? The Super Cow 2008 learned some interesting cocktails on your channel. Sweet. And remember, Super Cow, it's not about cocktails. This gig is about customer service and facilitating interesting and fun experiences for people. Which, if you work in like a little crafty place, then they might come there and they enjoy cocktails that are cool and crafty, but it's still about being out with their friends, being out with their boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other. They're there for their life reasons. They're not there because they want to know how much drink knowledge we have. It's not about us. It's about the customer. So it doesn't behoove any of you to over obsess about how many drinks you know. And like, if you, especially when you're just starting out, right? Once you get into this, then you're not going to need my channel anyway. Once you start working and you figure this out, then you're going to be off and flying and you figure it out. But when you're brand new, you're probably not going to get into like a super crafty, you might, but it's generally kind of a second bartending job. Once you've had the first one, you've got some experience. Not always, you know, you might walk right into place. But my point is, you don't have to obsess about just like super meticulousness in your drink knowledge. It's, as an owner of a bar or restaurant, I want to know that you know how to talk to people, that you know how to be personable, and you can bring them in with your personality, and that you know how to make sure that they're having a good time and they're enjoying themselves. And that will include making sure that the drinks don't taste like shit, you know, that you can know how to make a basic cocktail. But if you read reviews on Yelp and stuff like that, very, very rarely do they ever talk about the cocktails. It's about the service and the experience overall. So that's what you need to remember when you guys are getting into all this. Okay, let's see. Ganesh Pandy, thank you. Glad you guys are learning a lot. Luis Chavaria, I love to butcher names, so I apologize. Just, you know, silly white boy American loves to butcher fucking names. Luis Chavaria. Just got my first bartending job at Red Lobster. But place is such a mess. I walk in and it looks like a bomb went off. Any ideas on making things better? It's kind of hard at first. I mean, the best thing you can do, Luis, sorry, however that is to, or maybe Louis, do your job and clean as best you can, right? You want to make sure, and all you guys firing off questions, hang tight, I will get to them. You want to clean up, you want to do the best job you can. When you're brand new, you kind of want to be careful walking in there and going like, this place is a fucking mess, what are you guys doing, this is a joke, blah blah blah, because you're just going to go in there and create a bunch of enemies and no one's going to like you. So you want to get in there, do your best job to clean more, and as you start to get established, which will only take a couple of weeks, you know, start to bring up like, hey, how can we clean a little bit better? And sometimes it's just a culture of the place that it's not clean. Or sometimes it's a really old building and it's hard to keep it really clean. But that's surprising for someone for a place that's that, you know, a massive corporate chain like that it would be that kind of dirty. But big, huge corporations are also known for their just internal dysfunction of nothing being fixed. So at the same time, I guess I'm kind of not surprised. Do your best to make it as clean as you can while you're there, and then once you start working in there and getting some rapport with the management, see what you can do to increase, you know, maybe cleaning a little bit better, maybe getting a little more organized. And when you're there on your shifts, don't reorganize the bar, but if you clean and, you know, kind of make things clean and organized where they're supposed to be, then that's always going to be appreciated as well. Jasmine Jones, love your videos. Awesome, thank you. Cheshire, hey Jason, what's up, man? Just graduated from bartending school and already have an event this Saturday in Key Largo. Right on, congratulations. Kick some ass, make them dollars. David, I'll definitely have a lot of fun doing it. Huge difference from being in an office. Sounds a little ironic, but it's a big stress reliever for me. Yeah, for sure, no, I get it. Completely different environment. Eddie Lopez, hello from Cuba, Mojito Land, epic. Heyo, shaking the house. What up, brother? Cheshire, Eddie, soy cubano también. Oh, yo soy cubano también. Gotcha. Saludos. You guys are firing off in Spanish. I'm gonna leave that alone because my Spanish is terrible. Terrible. But I do what I can. I try. It's all about the cocktail. Yo, dude, what up? How's it? David L. I'll be back in 15 minutes. I'll be here. We will be here. Where is it all in the last name? Yep. Sorry, guys. I butcher them all the time. PL Santos, how about flare? Flare is a good question. So, flare is one of those things that most bars you're not going to be able to do. They're not going to let you do it because, surprise, surprise, your owners and managers don't like flying glass bottles or bottles that are full of booze made out of glass flying around their bar. Flair is like a Hollywood thing. It's like it makes cool movies like Cocktail, but it's not real. It's like it's something you practice at home on your own time to try to do competitions that are not in your bar when you're working. And I know there's exceptions to this. I know there's like one of the fucking chains, they actually encourage their bartenders to have a little bit of flair skills. And it looks kind of cool and stuff, and I'm not knocking anybody that gets into it. I never had time or interest of getting into flair. My whole bartending, the other thing with flair is it's really slow. It slows you down. The main argument the flair guys is like, well, you're faster, which, you make an argument either way on that. But if you go into a really busy bar, you don't really see a whole lot of dudes flaring out. You know, everybody's fucking hustling, and it's more for like a slower environment. And the other one is like, oh, you learn how to catch bottles and your reflexes are better, which, you know, maybe not, I don't know. But I just never had the time or the interest to really get into that stuff. And most bars won't let you do it. So that's the other thing. So do it out of necessity, but don't spend a bunch of time because you're worried that you're gonna need that as a bartender. Definitely not. But if you learn a couple cool tricks, I mean, you're better off learning some like magic tricks and learning a bunch of jokes, in my opinion, than a bunch of whiz-bang bottle juggling. But personal, that's your own. Get into it if you're feeling it. If you want to do it, that's awesome. But it's kind of an outlier thing. It's not a real common part of most bars that you go into. It's all about cocktail. I was about to make a sidecar, shoot some pool, but want to check in. Well, shit, thanks for stopping in. Cocktail. Cheers to you, mate. If you scoot on out of here and enjoy a sidecar and some pool, Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Escape 86 Media LLC just opened a full-service bar at a movie theater I manage, and your videos certainly help me have a better understanding of managing the bar portion of my business. Much appreciated. Awesome. Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I want to start doing, is making more of kind of, a little bit, some of that stuff, helping that side. There's some other channels out there that kind of focus on that a little bit already, so my MO is always just helping you guys that are newbies. But stoked 80 Escape. I'm glad you are getting some value out of the videos on here. Check out the playlist on the channel. If you just go to my videos in the playlist, there's some in there that could be beneficial to you, so you're not just kind of hunting around randomly on my videos that I have. Riston James Cashin, that is an awesome name. Hey man, been watching your videos for 2 years now. I'm now head tender at a bar in Baltimore. Thanks for all the info. That's awesome. See, that's why I love this. That's why I love to do this, is get you guys going and get you dialed in and get you moving up and succeeding in the industry. Good for you. Congrats. Joseph Caparoso. Hey there. Joseph here from Dubai in the house. Nice. Welcome. Thanks for all your videos. I really enjoy watching and started to learn bartending stuff. It's pretty cool. It's definitely a good time. Definitely a good time. Super social. Cash in your pocket, and it's just like my man David, I think it was David that was talking about that. Yeah, who does it as like a side gig because it's like good stress relief and just a change of pace of the routine, because it's probably this farthest other end of the spectrum from a cubicle job that you could get. Pretty close, for sure. So stoked. You're getting some good stuff there, Joseph. Eder Alvarez. A buddy makes all his Cosmopolitans with Cointreau instead of triple sec. He swears they taste better. Haven't tried them, but do you have any little tweaks, common drink recipes that add to the taste? Just Cosmopolitans specifically? Is that what you're talking about? Or any of them? Well, I would argue in your friend's favor, because Cointreau is basically just to really simplify this, and you know, I don't want to disrespect Cointreau, but it's basically a real high quality orange liqueur, and triple sec is a very basic, cheap orange liqueur. So the quality increase and the flavors are a little bit different. So I would tend to agree. I think the OG Cosmopolitan recipe actually called for Cointreau instead of triple sec, but you can make it just like that anyway. Yeah, Cosmos, any drink really, if you want to increase the quality and flavor of it, and yeah, flavor a little bit, but the more so the kind of quality and smoothness, I would say. The easiest way to do it is to just increase the quality of the alcohol. So if you're making it with the cheap, just, you know, well stuff, make it with the next one up, or maybe even like a top shelf liquor or liqueur option if the recipe allows. And that's one way to upgrade it. Same thing with the ingredients. You know, something basic like a margarita. Don't use the just really cheap. If you're working in a bar, you know, like don't use the gun. Like make it with fresh lime and lemon and some, you know, fresh citrus juices. So you can up the ingredient factor, which that's where the whole craft movement comes from. It's moving away from the like dirty DIVEBAR version recipes of stuff and bringing in all these cool fresh flavors and from scratch ingredients, and with the idea of raising the overall quality of the cocktail. So yeah, I mean, that's it. Those are the easy common tweaks, is just to increase the quality of the liquors and the, you know, mixers, which aka everything. And then just play around with it and see what taste and tweak and taste and tweak and see what you find you like. Because most of the time, you know, unless it's some weird recipe. If it's something that you like, then those modifiers could potentially translate to what your customers might enjoy, or you could at least like, hey, I like it like this. Like if you're making a drink for someone who's like a Cosmo or whatever, just because you said that, and you make it this way in the house, it's standard to make it with triple sec. Like, hey, we're gonna try it with some fresh lime, and we'll use some Cointreau instead. This is how I make it, or this is how I like to make it, and people go, oh, okay, and they'll be down to try it. So, Fio Santos, even craft, jiggers, spoon shakers. Missing your question there, Fio, probably. Are there jiggers and spoons and shakers in most bars? Yeah, and craft bars. Yeah, that's standard equipment that you need for sure. Escape 86 Media LLC went from never making anything past a Jack and Coke to shaking and stirring, all that good stuff. Been binge watching. Right on, brother. Yeah, that tends to be kind of the MO of people. They'll find this channel and then they're like, oh, this is cool stuff, and then just binge watch for a couple of days and go through all my videos. So the easiest way to do that for you or anybody else watching is to find the playlists that I have on this channel and use those to guide kind of the stuff that you're interested in, because it's laid out and it's grouped in a way that'll help you learn stuff that's, you know, in the same ballpark to each other. Speaking of orange liqueur, there's a little link about all the different orange liqueurs. Thank you, Shake. Cheshire, I was taught to upsell triple sec with Cointreau, and that Cointreau, wait, I would say that it's a premium triple sec. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can upsell anything. Right, getting down to these questions. Quick, like, need to ramble on some of these answers a little bit further. So what else is new out there, you guys? How are you all? How have you been? How's things? What else is new in the world? I know this week up here it's still snowing a bunch. It's like 2 feet of snow on the ground still, and it's starting to snow again. So it is still snowmageddon up here in the northwest. How's the snow down where you're at, Shake? So I'm drinking this really weird, random. I filmed these at work because the Wi-Fi at my place that I moved into is not that great. So we normally have a kegerator, or we have a kegerator. It's just that it's empty. We just got a new keg today, and my boss brought it in the back of his Jeep, and it was all bounced around. So the thing's gonna be foamy as hell. So I did not tap it. We're gonna let it sit overnight. So I could not pull a nice fresh draft. So I just raided our fridge and grabbed this girly little hard seltzer stuff. White Claw, Ruby Grapefruit, hard seltzer. 5% alcohol by volume. I would never drink this normally, but it's actually not that bad. It just tastes like a grapefruit soda kind of, but not that sweet. So anyway, I don't have my normal lager pilsner beer going on tonight, and yeah, trying something new. Jake, not that bad. It was heavy the other day, but it's almost all melted. The thing is, we had all this snow, and it's remained super cold. It's like 15 to 20 degrees below the season average around here lately. And so our highs have been in like the 20s, lows in the single digits every night. So all the snow I got, not melting away. All right. So, what else you guys got out there? Anybody knocking any doors? Because that's really the most important thing when you're getting into this. more than like the drinks you know, more than the like customer service stuff you know. The most important thing in getting a job is just going out there and knocking on the doors. Because then you start to build the relationships with people, you start to shake hands, you start to see that it always comes down to who you know, and you can't know anybody until you go knock on doors. So you gotta go pound the pavement. The most important thing you can do is pound the pavement to start getting opportunities. And you don't have to know anything to get into this industry. As I've said on the show and on this channel 100 times, is that I started doing this job and I knew absolutely nothing. I never tried to pour a drink. I didn't know any drink recipes other than a vodka soda and a rum and coke. And that was it. So pound the pavement. And then once you drop the resumes, the trick is you have to follow up. Go follow up once a week for the first few weeks, and then follow up every other week for a few weeks or a month or two, and then follow up once I wouldn't go any less than like once every 2 or 3 weeks, and keep following up. And if you can keep on that and follow up with places 3 or 4 times, and you have a list of 20 or 30 places that you have gone to, you will absolutely find something that will open up. I guarantee it. Eder Alvarez, so many dispensaries opening up with the legalization of weed, and all are the title for the people in what? And the title for the people over the counter are bud tenders. Yes, that is just kind of the weird little name, because it's like instead of a bartender, you get selling bud, so it's bud tender. I don't know. It's kind of a goofy little name, but it doesn't have anything. Well, actually, it has a lot to do with bartending in that it's very much customer service oriented. But it's funny because bud tending is much more like what people that want to get into bartending think it's like, where you think, from doing this for so long, you guys always think it's like about the drink knowledge and how many drinks you know and worried about that stuff. But in reality, it's not. It's more about customer service and all this stuff. Whereas like with bud tending, people come in and they legitimately will grill you with questions. I know that because the company that I work for up here in Oregon is now a recreational weed company. So I deal with this stuff on day to day. And there are tons of questions. So the bud tenders need to be very knowledgeable, but it's also super important customer service industry. That's like what we focus on really hard around here at our place. If you're up in the Northwest, come visit Tokyo Starfish. It's the name of the company they work for. Because there's a lot of really bad service in this industry, because people just think it's like, oh, it's just weed. Just come in and buy weed. I don't need to know anything about customer service. So anyway, Eddie Lopez, one question. Love the traditional, but any advice for flare tending? Eddie, we were just talking about this, and that it's a side interest. It's not necessarily a part of real bartending. I've bartended for 15 years and don't do any sort of flare, other than out of necessity, like flipping a pint glass in my hand just to turn it over real fast so I can fill it with beer. Most bars and owners and managers don't let you do flare because they don't like flying glass behind the bar. It's a huge liability. So it's for fun, and it's something you do at home, and you practice in your living room and in your garage for hours and hours and hours and hours to, maybe get into a competition in Vegas or something and win some money, which is cool. But a lot of places won't let you do it. A few places do, but it's not like a normal part of bartending. It's not like when you go to a job interview, they're like, well, how's your flair? It's not. So I'd say if it's interesting to you, then get into it, but it's it's kind of its own separate thing. But yeah, I never did it. Never got into it. I didn't have the time or interest, or, you know, I had other hobbies that I did on my free time, so. But it can be cool, especially in different environments like in Cuba, where if you work in a bar if you have time in front of the customers, it can be kind of cool, but it's more Hollywood than like real life, I would say. Eder Alvarez, I signed up for job notifications on this job board site for bartenders, but I'm getting Bartender job listings. Yeah, so job boards for bartending are the same thing like when bartending schools claim that they know all the jobs in town. It's generally not going to be the case, because bars, especially the good ones that you want to work at, are busy and they have people coming in every single day. So they don't need to list a job that may come open. And most of the time they promote from within anyway. So you're generally just gonna get on some random lists of stuff that you're not gonna be interested in, because most bars don't advertise, because they don't need to, because they have people coming in every single day, or they have a whole staff that's already there that wants to move up into the bar, which they're already there, they already know them, they know their personalities, they know that person knows the culture of the business, and so they prefer to promote from within. That's smart business. Businesses should do that. And that's why I say the easiest way to get a bartending job is to be promoted from another position in that establishment already. So I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time or effort putting your resumes all over the internet. I instead would use the internet to find a map, and have a playlist that'll show you how to get started. It's called How to Get a Bartending Job with No Experience. It's like a 4-part little mini playlist that I have. Maybe Sheikh will grab that. I'm sure he's on it right now. And the key is to find a list. Use the internet to find a list of 20 or 30 places that are within a half an hour of where you live, or an hour, whatever your comfort range is. And then go knock on doors. Go drop resumes every single one of those places, and then follow up like what I was just talking about. And that is going to give you an opportunity way, way, way greater than just, waiting for something to pop up, because bars do not. There you go. There's that link right there, Eder, that Sheikh just put up at the bottom. So go check out that playlist. Bars don't. So at the last place that I worked as a bartender and a bar manager, in the 8 years I worked there, put an ad up, I think once or twice. And it wasn't with some job site, it was just on Craigslist. And that was it. Because we had people coming in with resumes every single day. And there was just always people in-house that were wanting to get promoted up. And we normally would promote them up. So the only time we hired from outside is if there wasn't anybody that we could or that we wanted to move up. And so therefore we would bring somebody in from the outside. So that's why I say the most important thing for anybody who wants to get in this industry, more than what you know, more than the drinks you know, more than the customer service skills you have, is getting out there and just pounding the pavement. Make a list of 20, 30 places, go drop a resume to every single one, follow up once a week for a couple of weeks, follow up every other week for a few more weeks, and then follow up every 2 or 3 weeks for a few months. And if you can get to the point where you follow up 3 or 4 times with each place, you'll find a job. And then the other key is you need to be willing to take a job other than bartending. Because if you don't have any experience and you're only willing to start in a bartending position, it's going to be very difficult. Now, some people will fudge the truth on their resume and maybe tell a little fib about how much experience they have, meaning they'll lie that they have experience and they'll get a job, which, hey, do what you got to do to get a job and survive. I don't care. I know a lot of people that got their start in this industry doing that, and so I know that it works, but you just got to be careful that you don't get yourself into a position that you'll immediately be found out as a fraud, and then you'll get fired, because then that's pointless. But I know a lot of people that just kind of like, I got a little bit of experience, just enough, you know, like a year, you know, they'll say they have a year of experience, or so, just to get them a job. So there you go. Get out there and pound the pavement, Eder. Brendan DeNike, I'm gonna call you DeNike. Got another career question. Would you recommend going to school for bartending school or start off as a barback? I'd say if you can start off as a barback, take it. And then don't go to a bartending school, anybody, unless it's really easy for you to afford to do it, because it's not really gonna help you get a job that much. It might help you with your knowledge about the kind of basic broad strokes of the industry, but it's all external. Like, what is this bottle of booze? How do you make this cocktail recipe? Which you can learn all that shit on this channel. The best thing about bartending school is that you get a semi-realistic practice. So if it's worth the $200 or $300 or $400 or $500 to pay for practice that's kind of real, then it's worth it. Now you gotta remember, most bartending schools are water, so you can't taste the drinks. Every bar is different, so if you think that you're gonna go in there and learn the bar and then that's what every bar is like, that's not true. So every bar is different. You're going to be trained, so if you're worried about like, oh, I'm not gonna know where everything is or how the computer works, it's like, it doesn't matter. You'll get trained on that anywhere you go. Even me, with someone with 15 years of experience, if I got a new bartending job tomorrow, I would be training for at least a week to learn where everything is and how they open and how they close and how they do the books and how the computer works and how they split tips and how the whole routine goes. And then after that, then it's, you know, then they take the training wheels off and you go. But definitely do not spend money on a bartending school if it's your last Hail Mary to save your life and, you know, you're scraping together the money to do it. Definitely do not do it. Most bartenders never go to school. It is not seen, I'll tell you as a bar manager, that it is not seen as experience. It's seen as initiative, that you're willing to educate yourself about your profession that you want to get into, but it still doesn't mean that you know shit, because there is nothing that can give you the experience of being behind the bar other than being behind the bar. Now, that being said, like I said, it does give you a little bit of a feeling of what it's kind of like. But don't let the bartending school convince you that you can actually, you know, that you're gonna know everything coming out of their school, or that you have to get trained and learn all these drinks to be a good bartender. It's not, he who knows the most drinks isn't the best bartender. It's more about customer service skills and just being able to talk to anybody in any situation. So you'd be better off taking that money and putting it into a public speaking course to learn how to speak in front of people. Because I think the anxiety from this is not from that you don't know drinks, but it's because you're in front of people and that's what feels awkward and weird. So you just gotta figure that out and learn that it's not that big of a deal. Shashar, I like saying that, shashar. I'm very fortunate to have graduated from school that's also a staffing agency. Yeah, that's a common one now. Also bartending at the Ultra Music Festival. That's cool. Ridiculously stoked. Do you have any tips for these high value gigs? High value or high volume? Because value is subjective, but volume is speed and pace, which maybe Shake can grab that how to stay calm on busy shifts video that I did. way back. Cheshire, you can watch that. It's one of the first videos I ever shot. I apologize for the terrible video and sound quality, but the information in it is very, very relevant to any busy high volume bar. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you're just gonna have fun with it, man. Sorry, I can't tell if you're man or woman. Sorry if you're a lady. So just have fun with it. Know that you can only go as fast as you can go and you can only do what you can do, but smile and enjoy the ride. And there you go, retro rewind for the busy shifts. Check that one out, Cheshire. And then high value to speak to, if you actually were talking about high value, would mean for me, the level of the people that are in front of you are gonna have like a high level of, like, it would be like working at like a winery or like a distillery or something, or like a really fancy craft place. Then your knowledge about that wine or that alcohol that's made at the distillery, or the cocktails that are on your drink menu, you're gonna know those really well. But if it's a volume thing, then watch that video that Shake just linked, and that will help you for sure. But ultimately, just have fun with it. High volume. Okay, you did mean that. Okay, got you. Perfect. Fitzgerald Rios. Rios. What up? Long time no see. Miss you too. Welcome, Fritz. Welcome back, I should say. Let me be me. Can you share the link for how to handle high volume crowds, please? Oh, it's perfect. There we go. I miss your vlog. I know. It's coming. It's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back. I'm in an eternal transition phase of my life right now, where I moved up here, got a new job, and in a place, and now the lady's moving up and we're moving again. So I'm kind of like, do I build the whole bar just to move it again? I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna drop the sheet, and I just like work in my new job, doing all this stuff here, like all the time, because it's a lot of fun. I have a blast doing it. So I just get sucked into rabbit holes in my new job here. But I need to remember you guys. I need to keep creating content for you, Fritz. I need to. So it's coming. Eder Alvarez, I really agree how important customer service comes into playing at a bar. A younger dude, usually dealing with older clientele. How do I, someone who's 23, interact with 30 to 50-year-olds with ease? Don't treat them like they're any different than your 23-year-old homies. Now, obviously, you're not going to have the same kind of like really animated energy that you would with your young 20-year-old friends. But think of it as a way to work on your articulation of how you speak to people that may be a little bit more mature than you. Think of it as a way for you to improve your speaking to someone that may be in an older position, or maybe a little bit older in a position down the road in some other job that could be really important, you know? Who knows if you'll ever be talking to the president of the country or your company or the school that you want to go to. Who knows? So I'd say just be yourself and smile, and when in doubt, if you're having trouble in a conversation and you're trying to avoid awkward silence, the best thing to do is to ask questions, because that puts them on the spot to talk, right? Or as a bartender, you can just like, oh, I gotta go check on something, and walk away. So there's always that too. Like if you're just like crickets and it's awkward and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go check something in the kitchen, I'll be right back, or in the back or whatever. So, but just talk to them like anybody else, you know? Okay, now you guys got the questions flying in, so now I gotta pick up the pace because we're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour. So we'll do 10 minutes to last call, y'all. Eder Alvarez, honest issue at work, can't find much common ground. Most of them don't like sports. Sometimes that's gonna be the case. you're just gonna, and that's a perfect place where you can ask people questions. Like, so what are you guys up to? What are you doing today? What do you do for work? Where do you work? How long have you worked there? How long have you lived here? What do you do for fun? What do you do in your spare time? Ask questions, and then you just dig. They'll, and the thing is, and I talk about this in one of my older getting the job videos too, is when you ask questions, people, it's a kind of a sneaky ninja rapport building technique, because when people are talking about themselves, we're just kind of hardwired. It's it's a reproductive thing, subconscious psychology, weird stuff, that if we're talking about ourselves, then we're qualifying ourselves to that person, and we're, it's this like rapport building thing that happens when they're talking about themselves. So just ask them questions when in doubt. What are you doing? What are you up to? Where do you live? Where do you work? Do you live here? Are you from here? Where'd you grow up? No way. I have a friend that, and let them kind of ask questions, let them lead the conversation. Let me be me. Set up your own bar at home, do your own bar at home, and then watch his old videos. Don't do the class, I did the class and really learn nothing but the book with the drink recipes is helpful. Oh, you're talking about bartending school. Let me be me. Yeah. Yeah, set up your own situation at home, practice at home. You don't need a bartending school. And that's why I've got all those on my blog, the old anti-bartending school rants, which have softened that view. I used to be real anti, and now it's more of a like, if you can afford it easily, then sure, go for it. Just understand that, like Let Me Be Me says, you're still gonna have this big learning curve that you're gonna have to go through, that you're not gonna be able to get around, and you just gotta jump in and go for it. But watching a lot of the playlists on here, you're gonna learn way more than what's there. The content from this channel was originally taken from when I used to work at a bartending school, and that's why I know. That's kind of why I started this channel. Is I worked as a bartender for 7 years, and then I went into another industry doing sales and shit for about a year, and I hated it, and so I came back. Couldn't find a job because it was just like low season in my town, and this dude wanted to pay me under the table for this like bartending school job. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Seems like fun, paying me good money under the table. Sure, I'll take it. And I worked there for about a year, and then realized that what they taught at the school versus what you need to know as an actual bartender don't overlap a lot. So that was kind of like why I started making these videos. So there's a lot of the original content was just taking, like, well, I'm going to take the stuff that's relevant from there, but then since, over the last 5 years, I've added everything else. And so watching some of those, like, working bartender, how to be a bartender with no experience, bartending 101, those playlists, start there. Those are going to be way more beneficial for you looking to become a bartender than a bartending school. Best experience is to start as a barback. Barback is the closest job you can be to being a bartender without being a bartender, and is the most promoted job into bartending positions. So you're half a step away, and some bars you're actually bartending on occasion. Like, we had our barbacks, after they'd been there for a very short period of time, or even right away, we'd start get them making drinks, because the bar would just get so busy that sometimes we're like, hey, start fucking grabbing people, making drinks. Shake, what up? Almost forgot, ran into another follower outside of the stream. They were talking about bartending. I casually dropped the channel. Turns out they've experienced the bartending pro. All right, awesome. Yeah, it's happened a few times. I ran into some viewers. It was funny, like, it was when I was down in San Diego. I was at the beach, and we were like sitting next to this couple, and the girl was on the, like, we're sitting there for a while, and this dude went out to go surf, and the girl was on the beach towel, and she was like, kind of next little couple over from us on the beach, and she's like, hey, are you a bartending pro guy? I go, yeah, whatever, I make those videos. He goes, my boyfriend loves you. He watches all your videos. So it's kind of funny. I've run into a few people a few times. So that's awesome, Shake. Shout out to Faust. Am I saying that right? Rad. Thanks for the advice. You're welcome, Eddie Lopez. Holy shit, we get a lot of questions I gotta get to. A. Romero. What up? Just finished bartending school. It was bar back, now bartending after having been working in a restaurant for 5 months. I know I didn't have to, but I'm actually glad I did it. Yeah, and it's valuable. I think, you know, as long as it's not gonna break you financially, any sort of education you can get about anything in the world is good. So that's why I've kind of softened my stance on them. My main thing now is just like, if it's your last $300, don't spend it on a $300 bartending course for sure. Let me be me, you're very welcome. Ian Brewer, 3 best tips for beginners. It's not about the drinks. Go pound the pavement, work on your public speaking skills. So there you go. Those are my 3 points. And go back and rewatch this once it posts, because I elaborate on all of those in this live stream. And watch some of my old live streams, because these same questions come up over and over on these. And we cover these a lot. A. Romero. But I agree with you about the bartending school, though. I'm glad, because the bartenders at work don't even know how to properly make a martini, and they have years of experience. And that's like a perfect example, though, right? That you don't have to know even something as classic and as basic as a martini to be a good bartender. Because I would guarantee that even though I'm not saying that you shouldn't know how to make a martini, and I'm glad that you do, because every bartender should know how to make a good martini, but I'm sure that there are people in your bar that you work at that would say that those bartenders are awesome, and they don't even know how to make a martini. So that speaks directly to my point of what I say over and over, that this job is not about the drinks. This is about customer service and about customer interactions, facilitating a good experience for customers. That's what it's about. And the drink thing, all we're doing is making alcohol taste good and palatable. And that's subjective. So as long as the customer likes it, who cares how we make it, really? And if they make it and they want it made in some weird random way, and I'm not saying you, A. Romero, would do this, but just anybody, don't ever chastise a customer and say, like, that's not how you drink that drink. You don't even know what you're drinking. You know, make it how they want it, because that's the right way. Yeah, stoked it's here, man. Share the channel, glad it helped you, glad to be of service. Have fun and enjoy, absolutely. Learn from you and school. Also, the school has landed me work at private parties, which I will be doing soon, because the restaurant I work at sucks. Good, diversify, get that experience, stand on it a little bit, and then go to the next step up on where you want to go. Cheers, shake. Cheshire. I have mixed opinions about bartending school. It seems to me that it depends on the school and where you go and who's teaching you. On one hand, it's great to quickly gain knowledge. Marvel or DC? Man, I wasn't a comic book guy at all. So I'm just going to go on brand that I think is stronger, which is Marvel. As a marketing professional now, I'm going to go on brand. Cheshire, I can personally tell you that at least in Miami, no one wants to train you. And when they do, it's garbage training. On the other hand, my instructor did very little on one-on-one training. He just sat at my class. Yeah, well, yeah, the training that you'll get is on the job. And it's not like they train you, it's like you figure it out. I mean, you can set up a home bar, watch a bunch of videos on this channel, and be just as dialed in and trained as you would at any bartending school. And then from that point, it comes down to you to get the job at a place and then get in there and just start making it happen, because you're gonna learn along the way. Because there's just a lot of this shit that you can learn, even if you watched every single video I had 10 times, there's just, even if you have experienced an exact situation that you've seen in one of my videos, it will help you, but you're still gonna have your own experiences that you're gonna have and learn from along the way. So the other thing that I'm kind of like anti-bartending school about is it gives people a reason to not go out and knock on doors, which is the most important thing you can do, is just go pound the pavement, knock on doors. It gives people an excuse to like, oh, I don't know enough, or I don't know this, or I don't know that. It's like, my first day of bartending, I didn't know shit. I didn't know how to pour a shot. I didn't know any drink recipes. I didn't know nothing. And I floundered for a couple of weeks, and then you figure it out real quick, because it's not that hard. It's really easy. Yes, Fitzgerald. Cheshire. Mates train each other. Yeah, despite that, all in all, I think I'm better off. Most of it's due to my school being a staffing agency. Yeah, and if they can get you a job, then there you go. That's worth the price. Eddie, what do you think about reviving old cocktails? I think that it's important to, like any business, look at what your customer wants and look at your customers' preferences. So for you, Eddie, I think you said you're from Cuba, right? So if you're, just to be cliche as fuck, if your customers are coming in and they want mojitos and rum kind of, you know, type cocktails, and you're trying to shove, you know, cream drinks and whiskey and American beer down their throat or some shit, and that's not what they want, then my point is that revive old cocktails if it makes sense for the customers that you have coming into the bar. Don't revive them just to try to be cool or something, right? Because you can have a huge list of all these fancy cocktails, but if nobody wants them, nobody's going to order them, and it's just going to be a waste of real estate. I would say to look at what the most popular and common drinks are by people coming into your establishment or establishments like yours, and then just do that. Just don't reinvent the wheel. Bring stuff back if it seems like it'll fit, and introduce it. Otherwise, just go with what works. Because most of the time, people just want a decently strong drink, poured well, for a good price. You know, that's what I've always seen. All right, last call for questions, y'all. And that will do it. Coming up on 5 minutes here, and then we'll shut her down. Hey, Romero, you ever done any bartending competitions? I didn't even know they existed till about a month ago. Small local ones. You're welcome, Eddie, absolutely. I did some small local ones. Like I had an award-winning margarita recipe. I won a margarita contest. I think that's the only one I've ever done, and I won it. But it wasn't like a huge, big, gnarly one. I got invited to one actually for Bacardi. I actually got invited to one, but I didn't really care, and so I didn't go. But I don't know. That's just more. That's not why I got into this industry. That's not why I did this, right? It's different strokes for different folks. Different people come to this undefeated. Thank you. The people come to this industry for different reasons. Some people come to it because they love that. They love the like crafting of cocktails and the culinary arts side of it, like the cooking. It's like chefing, you know? It's matching flavors and textures and all that shit, and they love nerding out on that, and which is awesome. But that's not why I came to this industry. Like I came for the social aspects, the making some money in my pocket every night, and more than anything, the time flexibility to be able to work basically part-time and make close to a full-time living, doing it at night and off times so I can go surf and play or go to school. You know, I liked the time flexibility. So I never really got super excited about like cocktail creation. That was just part of the job kind of a thing, but not even my favorite part. So it was always just the people thing was always my favorite. And that's, I think, why I did so well as a bartender, because not that I knew it, but I was attracted to the side that is what, in my opinion, is what makes a good bartender, is that people person part. So anyway, get on them though. Fritz won a bartending competition. Congratulations. Cheshire, don't worry, it's not cliche at all. Light rum is the alcohol of choice for Cubans. Nice. Mojitos and the Cuba Libre is typical cocktail of choice, by the way. Another name for rum and Coke is, yeah, Cuba Libre. Right. Gotcha. Or, no, a little lie. Ah, okay, okay. Another name for rum and Coke is a little lie. It's a joke considering that Cuba was never free, as the drink suggests. Right. Yeah. I've heard that that's the case. Fritz, I make coffee cocktails. Overall, I won. Nice. Good job. Congrats. All right, y'all. We're going to cut it there. Thank you for showing up tonight. Appreciate the help from my man Shake. Make sure you check out at Bartending Pro on all the social media platforms of choice. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. I think that's all the main ones. And every Tuesday night, we do these 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, West Coast United States time. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, going across the states. Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern time. And we will do these again next Tuesday night. I will see you here, same time. Thank you all for coming in. I got you, Fritz. I'm going to start making some new videos just for you, my man. And thank you guys for coming out.